Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to Low Power Mode with Breezy. Let's do it.
I got an excess of black bile, high irascibility, contemplating checking myself into facility, mental ability clearly affected, deep in the dumps, down and dejected.
I've been in low power mode, in low power mode, been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear. I've been in low. I've been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high.
All right, so welcome. It's been a couple weeks. It's been a couple very busy weeks, but I am happy to be back here in my little happy podcast place. And I was planning on doing a completely different music song and artist for the music section, but one of my favorite artists decided to drop an album. So I'm not going to talk about the whole album because I haven't had time to listen to it, but I'm going to talk about the first track because it's freaking beautiful. Here we go. Music. Okay, so it's Little Simz. Little Simz. That's right. Little Simz has dropped, I think this is album number 5, and it seems soon, but I think Sometimes I Might Be Introvert was 2 summers ago. Time just is so warped and is like flying also for me lately. So yeah, it felt like, oh, damn, Little Simz is coming out with a new album already, but I'm not complaining. It's a 10-track album, and there was a lot of like, I can't fully say because I haven't listened to the full thing yet, but there was a lot of different styles and types of things going on the Sometimes I Might Be Introvert album. This feels a little bit toned down in a way. It feels a little bit more like, instead of experiencing Little Simz as like the epicenter of like all this other stuff going on, it feels like it's just us and her. So I want to talk about this track called Angel because it's the very first track, and it's just so good. Like I don't see a lot of rappers out here that are like Little Simz, like who identify as femme, or as, cisgender woman, and who aren't, wearing like wigs and nails and heels, and like there's this hyper femininity in hip hop for cisgender women that Lil Simz has no part of, and I love it. Little Simz is like tomboy energy, and it's important. It is important. Like, we need to have representation in rap that is just these, girls and women being themselves, and not feeling like they have to put on all these airs or all of these things in order to just be. That's what I appreciate about her. She's very stripped down. She's very real. So this first track called Angel, it's beautiful, it's soft, it's a tribute to someone named Harry, I believe, who she references as like listening to her on repeat from heaven. But I wanted to share the first verse because I felt like it was so powerful, and it hit on a lot of things that I've been thinking about. So I'm going to do it. This is the first verse of Angel from Little Simz' new album called No Thank You. Never cared about being immortalized. How can I stand with the ops and not with the tribe? They sell you a dream and then you want to glorify. Got a rude awakening by ignoring up all the signs. Why did I give you the keys to authorize shit on my behalf? Now I'm scarred and mortified. What did I expect from those living the corporate life? Unfortunately, honesty isn't normalized. Had to get my shit together and get organized. If your hand's in my pockets, I'm calling up all the guys. Though I don't want to be the reason of more divide. Guess that's in my nature of being a water sign. I'm sort of like, nothing is making sense in my awkward mind. Give me your ears to lend me for the night. Shooting in the dark, guess I never saw the light. Revoke access, I'm running it back, yes. Missing opportunities, I wish I was that pressed. Yeah, I say that shit with my damn chest. You need me, and you feel the loss of my absence. The novelty wears off after a few years. After a few tears from challenging new fears, learning everything I didn't on the come up, we was too busy making music till the sun up. Every day through the summer. Didn't learn the business, and now I'm ducking for cover. What a fuck up. Might just leave a bad taste thinking I'm a sucker. Come out of my damn face, and where did I stutter? It's gonna be a sad case if you see my brothers. I can see how an artist can get tainted, frustrated. They don't care if your mental is on the brink of something dark, as long as you're cutting somebody's payslip. And I'm sending their kids to private school in a spaceship. Yeah, I refuse to be on a slave ship. Give me all my masters and lower your wages. What I'm bringing to the table is more than a feast for the belly of the beast. Didn't know I'm dropping something heavy for these streets. Fuck the politics, I'm going Megan on uniques. I need the best seats in the house. When the truth unfolds, it's gonna be one hell of a scene. Harry listening from heaven on repeat. He was backing it when nobody believed. Play the game is what they scream. You can play the game. I don't see no need. No. So that's the first verse of the track Angel off of the No Thank You album from Little Simz. And she always collaborates with Cleo Soul on her albums and stuff, and this is no different. Cleo Soul sings the chorus. It's beautiful. It's stripped down. I think generally these tracks are stripped down, and it's really heartfelt. I mean, the whole track is amazing. The writing is amazing, but I really loved this first verse, and I loved how this was like the first piece. It's like a poem. It's like the first thing we hear after a long time not hearing from Little Simz, like new music wise. So I love the awareness and the growth that I get from this first verse, because it's clearly it's clear Little Simz was winning awards, gained a lot of success, did a lot of incredible performances from the Sometimes I Might Be Introvert album. And this verse kind of gives you this sense like, damn, it's not been all great. It seems like Little Simz has had to deal with some stuff, people taking advantage of her in her career, maybe telling her what she can and cannot do. The part that I really love, though, is this acknowledgement. I can see how an artist can get tainted, frustrated. They don't care if your mental is on the brink of something dark, as long as you're cutting somebody's payslip. Mental health is just so important, and I feel like there's a little bit more of an awareness about mental health within music and artists, creatives in general, but it's still fucked up. And I think it's awesome that Little Simz is making this statement that, it's like, sometimes in rap you just hear the braggadocio, like, yeah, I made it, I can buy all your houses and like, buy your mama a house and this and that and money, cars, whatever. But this is just so different than that. It's so like, I don't know. Sometimes when I listen to Little Simz, I feel like I'm listening to someone talking to their therapist or something. And that's that honesty, that vulnerability. It's so strong, so incredible. So, yeah, if you haven't already, I know there's kind of a lot of music that's coming out recently. SZA just dropped her album. There's a lot of stuff going on the airwaves. There's a lot competing for the listening attention, but this is such fire. I can already say the album is such fire while only listening to half of it because of the type of artist Lil Simz is. So if you hadn't heard this, if you haven't listened to Lil Simz much, like, you gotta get on it. Get on it. She is the closest equivalent to today's, like, Kendrick Lamar type rapper. Not only incredibly skilled with the lyrics and the flow, the themes, but on top of that, super vulnerable and super just, I don't know, personable in a way. So thank you, Little Simz. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking your time, for stepping back, giving space, even in the song. In this Angel song, at a certain point in the verse, it's like, she says, like, something about some space, and then there's a break, and then she comes back in. It's just beautiful. She takes her time. Some of the tracks on this project too are like 5, 6, 7 minutes long, which is so different than the industry standard. These days it seems like songs are getting shorter and shorter. So I'm grateful. Super grateful. Okay, that's it for music. We're gonna move on to TV. Television. Okay, so we've talked about it before, but I'm going to talk about it again. It's, I believe, the best reality TV show on television. We're talking about We're Here. We're Here is currently in its 3rd season. It's, think like a cross between Queer Eye and Drag Race. And essentially 3 queens, 3 very, very accomplished queens, Bob the Drag Queen, Shangela, and Eureka. They go into a small town or small city, a city that's like not known for queerness or may have issues with the presence of queerness. And these 3 queens go in, they each have a person who they're being a drag mother to. And but it doesn't have to be a traditional, like, cisgender male turning into a drag queen. It can be really anyone. And it's a phenomenal show. I cry pretty much every single episode. But what was so special about season 3, episode 2, which is the one I'm going to focus tonight, was that the performances. And who this particular person who they chose to cast. So I'm gonna start with this incredible performance. So what they do is they, over time, teach each of their drag babies, they're gonna do their routine, they're gonna do their hair, they're gonna do their outfit, and all of this stuff. They're gonna choose their song. They're gonna come up with this whole performance. And so sometimes the drag queens do like a separate performance in addition to the performances that they do with their drag babies. So for this particular episode, Shangela starts the show, which they do at the end of every episode. They find a space and then they have this drag show. And Shangela comes out like Cleopatra, like an Egyptian royalty, and like on the shoulders of some sexy dudes, and they have like the whole Egyptian theme, like dancer costume. It's phenomenal. And she comes out and she does Break My Soul by Beyonce. Apparently she had to get like special permission from Beyonce to do this. And I believe, my theory is that Beyonce not only okayed Shangela to do this performance for the TV show, with her song. But I think she also recorded some things and gave them to Shangela to use in the show, because she says these vocals that I've never heard before, or not vocals, it's just like her speaking, Beyonce speaking. And she's like, if you know, if you don't have a stage, build your own. Your blackness is beautiful. Your queerness is beautiful. Like Beyonce saying your queerness is beautiful. It's so awesome. And then Shangela comes out and does Break My Soul. It's insane, insane. And even the version of the track is, I haven't heard that version, so I don't know if they specially like remixed it for the show. Like if the Parkwood Entertainment people were like, okay, let's do a whole new mix just for the show. But it was so awesome, so great. Shangela did a performance for Beyonce at like the GLAAD Awards over the past couple years, I think. So Beyonce is totally aware of Shangela and how great she is. And this performance, I'm sure Beyonce, if she's seen it, was impressed and happy. So that was freaking awesome. But the real star of the show, of the episode, was the drag baby, or like the, you know, the human being from Jackson, Mississippi, named Dabronsky. Dabronsky was paired with Bob the Drag Queen, and he, where do you even start? He comes off a little reserved, and it takes Bob some time and work to like pull some things out of him. I think Bob asks him how he identifies, and they don't use the word gay. They use M to M, I think he said, or MSM. So male sleeping with male. They don't use gay or lesbian, just MSM, which is like, damn, like that's it. It reminds me of like what you would write on like Craigslist or like a DL like internet site to find someone, you know, compatible. So there's a lot of repression and a lot of trauma that Dabronsky has experienced, especially with his family, which he speaks about. Dabronsky reveals that he has been exorcised as a child by his parents. They wanted to, you know, pray the gay away, beat it out of him, you know, and so there's a lot of childhood trauma that he has not dealt with, or that has not been resolved. But he's in this really, it seems like, really supportive and loving relationship with his partner. I forget the partner's name. And his partner does drag, is a full drag queen. Apparently, the partner was doing drag for several like years, I think, before coming out to Dabronsky about it. And Dabronsky was not having it at first, which is completely understandable. Like when all that you're served, you know, growing up in Mississippi in the church or whatever in your family is that like to fear gay people and queer people and drag queens and that it's all bad, it's super understandable. And so I appreciate that we like see the journey partly in that Dabronsky is able to be in a committed relationship with someone who does drag on the regular. It's definitely like clear that Dabronsky, there's a lot of work that's going to need to be done internally in order for him to get up on that stage in a dress and heels and all that stuff. Like he's not super ready. So at one point there's a little like like cookout situation or whatever, backyard barbecue that Dabronsky has with his cousins, and Bob goes along, and this is the first time his cousins have met his partner. So it seems like he has a good relationship with his cousins, but he hasn't really come out to them or been like as upfront about his sexuality and his partner. So there's this kind of atmosphere going on, this like newness. And then at some point, Dabrowski gets up and says that he's going to be doing drag, and his cousin, his definitely straight cis male cousin, is like, racing, as in drag racing, because he imagines that his cousin would be drag racing before he would be dressing up into drag. So that was kind of funny. Like, yeah, that was really, like, you see the type of environment that Dabrowski's coming from. And at one point, he mentions that he's going to be doing the show, and his cousin is like his cousin like gets up and is like, shut up, like, hold up, and just leaves, just goes inside the house. And so we're like, okay, was that a negative reaction? What was that? His cousin comes out with a bottle of champagne and like gives him a big hug and is like, whatever you do, like, we're going to support you. And it's so beautiful to see, because this is a whole bunch of Black folk in Mississippi. Like, the chances of them being accepting, especially because Dabrowski's own family was so condemning, like, it's just so beautiful to see. And at a certain point, Dabrowski is he gets scared, I think, and he has to leave, and the cameras kind of follow, but they can't go into the bedroom. And his cousin, one of his cis female cousins, goes in after him and says, you know, this is something along the lines of like, this is part of your healing, like, you can do this. And so it's fascinating. And when Dabrowski, later on in the episode, when Dabrowski meets with the team, you know, who designs what he's going to be wearing, and the hair and the makeup and all that stuff, like, you see hesitation. His partner's with him, Bob is with him, but he has internal trauma that is so raw that we're not sure as the audience if he's going to go through with it. Of course, the editing makes it that way as well, but fascinating. So they go ahead and do the show. They make it to the part where they're putting on the makeup, putting on the thing. So we're like, okay, Dabrowski's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. And he's all kind of like quiet and I don't know, like kind of solemn beforehand. And so then, okay, actually I just paused the podcast recording, went back, watched the performance, and I'm in tears. Like, it's one of the best performances I've ever seen. Real voice or lip sync, drag queen or diva, like, it doesn't even matter. This performance was insane. So Bob, the production, like, okay. So Bob, the drag queen, before Dabrowski goes on stage, you know, is like, you got this. I'm so proud of you. Like, you know, like, just being really, really supportive. And normally Bob and Shangela and Eureka, they perform alongside their drag babies. But Bob, this was the first one. Bob just, in Bob's like cute little Nina Simone 60s African print dress and bag, and Bob just decides to sit this one out and watch from the audience. Bob's standing right next to Dabrowski's partner. So Dabrowski takes the stage, painted like beautifully. The mug is just beautiful, like silver and blue around the eyes, the like looking so good. The hair is like up and big and beautiful. He's in a beautiful red dress, red gown, and there's like silver shininess behind him. And he starts singing, "And I am telling you, I'm not going." I don't know if it's, I should know, but I don't know if it's the Jennifer Holliday version or the Whitney Houston version, but it is so restrained at first. So he's just standing in place. They call it like the park and bark. And so just starting off soft and smooth, and I am telling you I'm not going, like this sort of thing. And something that's unique about Dobronsky is that he's hitting every single word. Like even Eureka, who's on the show, every time doesn't get all the words. Like there's a lot of, just kind of mouth movement. But Dobronsky knows each and every single one of these words inside and out, which helps the performance so much. And so it starts restrained, soft, then there's a like shift in the song, and then they put these red lights on Dobronsky, and so the red dress, the red lights, it's just beautiful. And then the next like major moment that happens is that the dress starts being pulled. So like there's these like long shiny swaths of fabric that are part of the gown, and the people on the stage, like the stage production people, are like pulling back these bits of fabric slowly, so you have this like movement, and then suddenly they're starting to ripple and then rise in the background, so the dress becomes the new backdrop, and it's all shiny and flowy and flowing like way up high, towering over Dobronsky, and it's so beautiful. And he is just living, like using every single ounce of energy and soul, putting it into this performance. It is stunning. Like it is so powerful to see. As the dress goes up, there's a little bit of like movement forward, but other than that, there is not that much movement. He's just singing the song, but the hand gestures, he's really embracing this diva-esque quality. And in the crowd, you see the cousins going crazy, crying, cheering, banging on the stage. The whole crowd's going crazy. Bob is looking so thrilled and pleased. The partner is just in tears. Like by the end, he's got his hand fully over his mouth. Like he cannot believe what just happened. And after the end, and you gonna love me, like at the very end, Dobronsky just breaks down crying, just bent over in tears. Like it is watching someone process their trauma in real time. It's nuts. Then Bob comes, joins Dobronsky on stage, and Dobronsky's like, you don't know what I've been through as a child, the bridges I had to cross, the mountains I had to climb. It's friggin' so heartfelt. But he talks about being put in a box. He let society and people put him in a box, but he's like, I am my own person. And it's just amazing. It's so powerful to see this, to experience this. Afterwards, he gets off stage and they show Bob just being like Bob almost is like tripping over his words. Like he's so excited. And yeah, it's like Dobronsky just has no awareness of how incredible he was. It was just what he decided to give. And Bob thanks him for going there, for giving all that he has. And it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Is this the resolving of Dobronsky's childhood trauma? Absolutely not. But is it a massive step towards self-acceptance within the way he sees himself and his place within his family and friends? Yes, it's incredible. It's just incredible. It's definitely like the best moment on TV that I've seen this year. I've gone back and watched it so many times because it's so good. I even watched it on YouTube. Like I'm including this clip of someone who taped it on their phone or whatever from watching it on TV, because like the clip isn't up from the series yet, but even that, you can tell, you can just see the power and the strength, and it's amazing. I think I'm just getting in my own thoughts and having a moment, but Black people go through so much trauma and strife. Queer people go through so much trauma and strife. So to see this person having all those burdens and just shining, flying like a free bird, it's just so powerful. And for those of us who are queer and who are Black and who do feel, like it's hard to see us, to see ourselves, it's game changer. It's a huge game changer. I know there's a ton of little Dobronskis out there. So this was incredible, and I can't thank the team enough. Like, this show is activism and just, it's bringing about a shift, a change. It's doing incredible work. And I'm like, yes, please keep it going. We need just as many seasons of We're Here as we'll have of Drag Race. Like, this needs to be a thing that never stops. So thank you to everyone involved. Such beautiful television. And I'm going to end it here. Hey, listen, sometimes you gotta check in with yourself.
Check in with yourself.
Okay, so we're in the coming back home section. I was going to talk about another show that was a very slow climb, and now in its second season, it's really amazing, but I'm going to wait until next episode. But just wanted to thank everyone for listening to this podcast, for supporting me on Patreon. It's been amazing. And I started this podcast because I was sick and I couldn't really do that much. It was hard to leave the house. It was hard to get around. It was hard to work. It was hard to do anything outside of bed. But I was like, what I can do is I can record, for an hour or so each week. Like, that is something that I can do. And I was spending a lot of time watching, consuming, media, film, TV, music, and I was dealing with a lot of mental health issues, a lot of trauma left over from Berlin, left over from taking the leap to become a professional artist, moving to Berlin, and then having Corona happen a few months later. And so this podcast has served such a huge need for me in terms of my feelings of self-worth, in terms of connecting with people, in terms of highlighting things that I find important and that I aspire to. And I'm really grateful for this experience. I have made a decision to end the podcast, and I don't want to end it completely. I want to end the season, quote unquote. This has been season 1. And I do, because lately I've been more able-bodied. I've been feeling better. I'm working with this herbalist who's amazing, who's helping me get off of harmful medication that's making my inflammation and things worse and making me overall feel a lot better. So even though I still struggle, I'm able to do more, and it feels really good, and I'm really, really happy about it. So this is not a sad ending. This is incredible, actually. I feel better lately, especially mental health wise and physical health wise. I mean, they're so related. But I feel better than I have in many, many years, and I'm really excited about that. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of close up shop this month. I'm going to bring the podcast season 1 to an end. And I don't know when season 2 is going to start back up again. I'm not sure what the future looks like. I will change, you know, I'll make it so that like you're not being charged on Patreon anymore. But I just really, really appreciate your listening, your engagement, and your support of me. It's been massive, and it's helped me heal and come to this place where I can do other things. Another thing that I want to share is that by no means am I going to stop making music. I think that's always going to be part of me, part of my process, part of my hobbies and things that I love to do and have a passion for. But I feel that as I'm progressing in my healing journey that I need to take some steps back away from music, and I have done that by focusing on my healing for the past like year and a half, you know, not putting anything out, not putting pressure on myself, but to just do my summer shows in Berlin and try to heal over here in the States during the rest of the year. Um, but now ready to, I'm ready to not feel like I'm on this hamster wheel that's never going to end. And I feel like with music, it's really difficult to do everything yourself. Um, and and keep your spirits up. My spirits are up with my music, and I don't want to push myself to a place where they're not up with my music. So, yeah, so I think I'm going to slowly be releasing some things that I've had um in my head for a while, and I'm not exactly sure what that looks like, but I've got Queer POC finally coming out on the 23rd of December. Super excited about that because I started that track in June and then kind of had to take a break for touring in Berlin and then have been working on it ever since coming back here. So I'm really, 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 really excited to release Queer POC. Um, and and I want to release Under Attack that I've been performing as well. I think that'll be much easier to put out because it's a rap song versus like this singing is much harder to produce. Hip hop beats are pretty easy to produce. So if you're looking to get into production, start with hip hop. It's, you know, pretty chill. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm just ready to have life feel easier, you know, and to not be on this grind of constantly either trying to raise money or promote myself or yada yada yada. Like I get promotion, I understand it, but I don't want to have to do it for myself, and that's okay. So I'm really coming to terms with a lot of things that were hard to come to terms with because I felt like this is my passion and I have some talent here, and so I need to pursue this. But the music industry has changed so much. I mean, TikTok has its own distribution platform now. So you can literally like make and put out music through TikTok. Also, Corona virus has really made everything harder as well. There's venues that have closed, there's less money, scholarships, residencies, things like that to go around. So it's not impossible. People are doing it. But for me, I'm kind of like, yeah, I kind of want to explore some other things. I kind of want to, you know, work more as a freelancer. There's other things that I want to do. And I think that if I put all my time and energy towards music, what I get back from it doesn't quite match up at this juncture. So once again, it's not like I'm not going to be putting out music in the future. I am. I'm definitely going to be coming to Berlin this summer to perform. But just, you know, like Little Simz and the theme of that Angel song, like I'm growing, I'm taking steps back, I'm slowing down, and it honestly feels good. You know, who knows in the future, maybe there would be other opportunities where it's easier and more fun and more supported to pursue music in other types of ways. But I'm ready. I'm ready for other things, ready to see what the universe has, ready to kind of feel less on that hamster wheel, less on that grind, on that hustle, and to just enjoy life. So, thank you for listening. Thank you for supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I love you. I appreciate you. It's still going to be a couple more episodes to come. But yeah, wanted to make the official announcement that season 1 will be ending. And I hope you feel how much you've given me just by tuning in to this. So, thank you. Happy holiday season. Wishing everybody the absolute best. Breezy out.
I've been in low power mode. In low power mode. Been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear. I've been in low. I've been in low power mode all year. Think it's time to switch it up to high gear.